Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking lookalikes. And this week, we're focusing on water-related, water-adjacent concepts. So yesterday we started with water. And today, compared with water, we have two extra dots there. And this make water into ice, pronounced as bīng. Now, everybody probably knows we have search engine in called bīng. That's Microsoft search engine, right? So for Chinese, it's easy to remember. I'm not sure like bīng in English. Well, actually, bīng in English probably doesn't have any meaning, but bīng in Chinese means ice. And I will explain the meaning, the cultural connotation of ice in Chinese. And here you can see traditional Chinese looks exactly the same. 2,000 years ago, we got more curvatures. So yesterday I explained how Chinese simplify this water streams in the middle, and then the two broken lines symbolize the counter currents underneath, or the blockage along the river bank. So this is water in nature. Now, the two, this looks like, this triangle thing looks like a Mitsubishi or some logo that got this triangle look. Well, those triangles actually symbolize once water solidifies, its volume is going to expand. Therefore, the surface, if you limit it to a like a fixed space, then when the volume increase, then the surface is going to break like that. And that's simply somebody's observation of how when water change its form into ice, that's commonly occurrence. And by adding two of them, that doesn't mean just two surface breakage. It means multitudes. We place that next to water simply means now this is water transformed into a hard surface that often got this breakage, ice breaking moments because its volume increase. And just use two of them, that means multitudes of those. And eventually those two, just like water, we got streamlined and simplified, got twists and turns, then we make it kind of attached to the middle stream, right? And straighten the middle stream. The two ice symbols got just simplified into two dots. And the two dots, there's a certain aesthetics here. Notice the two dots is not exactly, it's not symmetrical. Like the original 2,000 years ago is a more realistic depiction of physical phenomenon when water turned into ice in a limited space. But here, it's totally up to human aesthetic choice. We make it asymmetrical. The top one is lighter. The bottom one is heavier, bigger, and with this dramatic upward swing. And I don't know, like that's probably ancient language graphic designers that when abstracting these two ice icons, they make this design choice to make it asymmetrical so that visually, if you see this is visually more stable and balanced. The top is lighter versus the bottom is heavier, so that it looks graphically stable, right? Versus 2,000 years ago, top bottom the same, is a repetition, means multitudes, but it doesn't have that stability, right? It feels like you stack these two together, it could tumble, it could be upside down. Versus this, it's almost like you fixed it in space by installing a heavier load at the bottom, so to speak. All right, so that's ice, our expressions. 冰雪聪明, we have ice, oftentimes go with snow. So those two, ice and snow, often paired together to describe the environment in wintertime. And then we have 葱 and 明. 葱, okay, this one I unpacked probably last year. Have the ear symbol on the left side, and Chinese often pair 葱 with ear, like good hearing. And then 明, even if you see the sun symbol over there and the moon symbol on the right side, it's not actually the sun plus the moon means it's bright. No. Okay. The 2,000 years ago's version would have the left side, instead of the sun symbol, it looks somewhat like sun, but it's way more complicated. It's the lattice window pane, because in ancient times there's no glass and no such technology to keep privacy, but also let the sunlight in. People devised this lattice structure so that it's not a big piece of space on the wall. Instead it's with a grid and all kinds of design patterns, right? Quite intricate as part of the culture back then. And that describe such lattice covered window, and then the moon at nighttime shines through this. And we define bright with darkness. Only when you see when it's dark, then that means it's actually bright. I just love Chinese about that. It's almost like it's almost a contrarian thinking from start off. Okay, so we pair 明, the bright, with our eyesight often. So we have 耳聪目明. You have good hearing, that means your 聪, sharp ear, right? Sensitive ears, good hearing. 明 means your eyesight are good. And these two pair together means smart. How Chinese define smart? We use your sensors, the main two sensors, visual and audio sensors on your head, as the defining factor. If you have a sharp hearing and sharp eyes, vision, most likely you're going to be a smart person. Simply here is the information processing machine, and when we have a good data input, most likely we grow smarter. And in fact, one of the dementia prevention tips would include protect your hearing, because once you lose that sensor, you're going to grow dumber. Your brains are not get enough stimulants, and same as your vision. Once you lose your vision, very likely your cognitive functions are going to decline. So ancient Chinese, without knowing all that science, observe the phenomenon and associate intelligence with your sensor sensitivity. That's 聪明. Now we pair 冰雪, the ice and snow, with your good sensors, your good brain. And that's an interesting phenomenon too. Like Chinese would describe somebody who got a crystal clear vision about something, clarity, right? And purity, like not chaotic, not random thoughts, but you have a clear understanding of things. That sort of brilliance with ice and snow condition. All right. 冰清玉洁, eyes clear. Okay, I'm not sure if you have experienced, well, I guess everybody do. When we drink, right? When we have ice cubes, household item, we know how clear that is. There may be some air bubbles in it, but for the most part, you can see through it. That's 冰清玉洁. We talked about jade a few episodes ago, and the jade would be, 洁 means clean, dustless. Great personal hygiene, probably. So 冰清玉洁, basically describing just like a 冰雪聪明. 冰 is more on your intellectual, and 玉 more on your surface level, your skin even. Because a few episodes ago, we described how Chinese use 玉 to describe women, pretty women. And the standard of pretty is not only they have a clear skin, right? Like no scars and all that, visible blemishes, but also their surface, I guess, texture of their, it's almost like the texture the light reflected on the skin, kind of similar to the jade. Okay. Fan bīng bīng. Okay, we have bīng bīng twice, one after another, immediately. In Chinese, it's totally okay. In English, it would be redundancy. It's a grammatical mistake, and kind of autocorrection will point out the second one is like a redundancy, right? But in Chinese, no problem. And in fact, this is a common girl's name because it's associated with clarity, with intellectual function. And as part of parents' good wish for their daughters, they would adopt that and use that on their girl's name. And Fan Bing Bing is simply this lady. That's used to be probably a decade ago Chinese 8 girl. And this is probably, this is reported by, according to Western editorial magazine, and as a beauty standard, right? But she made it the most occurrence on magazines. And I guess this originally fashion, movie actor turned into fashion icon. That's a common path, and she is probably the top one in that domain. So her name is Fan Bing Bing. Thank you for your time. See you another day.